Come, fight me.
Hello again, YouTube. This is Dr. Kendo. We're back with Scribblenauts Unlimited, the object editor commentaries. Starting off with a boy as the source object. Take off all of the limbs. We're not even going to see the body here for this creation. Now, I've been doing my requests usually on basically a top comment or like a most popular voting, just some kind of top comment system. But there was an overwhelming amount of people when I kind of asked for feedback who, they just said, do what you want to do. And so right now, I still kind of try to go with what will please maybe the most amount of people, which is really hard, of course, because you're never going to please everybody, unfortunately. I would do it if I could. So often I try to just go with something maybe that's new, like with the Five Nights at Freddy's when they released the trailer. I made the third animatronic, which, by the way, doesn't have an official name as of the uploading of that video, and honestly, still today. But hey, that's a separate commentary. So, when that trailer was revealed and everything, I created that animatron because it was, relevant to the times, and, the Avengers Age of Ultron because of the announcements of that. So I guess this one kind of goes along. I don't know that it was the most popular object request, but a few people have been requesting it, and I think it's really good, with the new Kirby game out on Wii U, the Rainbow Curse, and being able to use a Meta Knight King Dedede or Kirby amiibo on there. I figured we should just create those three characters, so I already have a Kirby, and today we're going to be creating Meta Knight, an amazing character. I really like the way that Meta Knight looks. I've always enjoyed that, so I think this will be a fun creation to do in Scribblenauts. You saw that on the body right there. We have just done two hemispheres or half sphere shapes, and we also took that diamond shape and just did it twice to match up with each other on the ends. Or I guess I should say parallelogram shape. Paint them entirely black and then put a sphere back behind the two half spheres, layer it behind. And then we're going to use these half sphere hemisphere shapes again for his feet. So now you can see these green grids. You want to activate these whenever you want to basically make sure you're placing the various components of your object in the right spots. Such as this right here, I typed in knee pad, and that's going to be the shoulder pads for Meta Knight. I know they may not end up looking exact, but I mean, it's honestly, they're going to be very close, and it's hard to get things sometimes exactly 100% spitting image, but man, I think this is already kind of shaping up to look like Meta Knight, so I definitely have high hopes for this one. And honestly, you can actually see several different designs of Meta Knight over the years. They're all closely related and closely similar to each other, but it just kind of goes to show you can have some liberties with your designs in this game in Scribblenauts. So look at Meta Knight here. We've got two dots right now for the eyes, painted yellow, of course. I'm just kind of getting that sweet spot. I know that his face is usually kind of down low on, it's like in the middle of the mask or whatever. And I know that stamp space will probably be an issue here. So I've determined I don't think I'm going to give him arms. I'm just going to jump straight to the boxing glove, which is going to be his hands. You could use like golf gloves, mittens, other things like that. But I really like how the boxing glove looks. So I'm going to choose that for his hands and just kind of put them beneath the knee pad, shoulder pads that we've got right there. And it will look enough like he has arms, I think at the end of this, once we have finished the creation. It's starting to look good so far. We just need to make some minor adjustments to things. And again, I can't seem to get this eye part exactly where I want it. Maybe that's a little bit better, lower down. Just copy and paste the boxing glove to put another one on there. We're going to go with dragon wings. I know some people's inclination might be to do bat wings, but they actually do not look like the real Meta Knight wings. These dragon wings are quite close, so we're doing pretty good right there. I just painted, there's some little claw parts or whatever, like some little white grayish parts at the end of the dragon wings. I just painted those this purple color as well, just to have it all one solid color. The real Meta Knight, I know that he has little claw finger things on the end of the wings in some of his games, up at the top, kind of in the middle and at the top, but I'm still determining whether I'm going to do that or not at this point. I've also used a piece of paper, so just type paper, and we're going to use this little pattern right here. You see this pattern from the color pattern library. Put this behind him. This is kind of that thing, I guess, for his cape and his kind of kingly knight look. He's got this collar right there, I guess you could say, popped collar. We'll go ahead and use another piece of paper, though. We are going to include the cape on him. I know that it's like Meta Knight, you can actually see images of him without his cape, but it's like if you consider, Smash Brothers, he's always got it ready. So anyway, you want to double up on the paper here for the cape as well, because there's a layer of yellow that kind of outlines it, so that's why I have done another piece of paper paper like that. We're gonna have it just off to the side right here. I don't want it going down the middle or something like that, and then his two legs going between it or anything. I'm gonna try to make the little shoulder pads have this point right here. So I've just done Fang. That should hopefully illustrate the point. It looks like it's gonna be hidden on this shoulder mostly. Honestly, that could probably free us up some stamp space if we didn't have it, but I kind of like it actually. I mean, it's a cool little detail that you can add to the shoulder pads right there. So the only thing that, I do slightly regret is that wing is actually gonna be, ahead of that shoulder pad, but I guess it looks okay. I'm talking about that wing to our right side. But when I'm doing the scripting and the properties right here, I like to read some background information and fun facts. So Meta Knight is a major character in the Kirby series, appearing in most of the games, manga, as well as the anime. He's the leader of an army of soldiers known as, you guessed it, the Meta Knights, and he captains a huge airship we all know and love called the Halberd, or Battleship Halberd, I guess I should say, which he may take with him into the heat of battle. Something interesting is that when Meta Knight first appeared in Kirby's Adventure in 1993, his true name was not known in the US. It wasn't until the game Kirby's Avalanche was released in 1995 that the United States could finally know of his real name. One of the most well-known Meta Knight caveats is the fact that he's almost never seen with his mask off. In a few games, his mask actually is split in two upon defeat, revealing a blue face nearly identical to Kirby's, with white eyes, a mouth, and bright pink cheeks. Whenever he is actually unmasked, he immediately departs the field of battle. What's funny is also Pit and Viridi actually discuss the Meta Knight / Kirby resemblance, and they even question whether or not he can do the inhale and copy abilities in Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS. Meta Knight as a character has been well received, making many of those top 10 and 20 lists for most awesome sword-wielding video game characters, most misunderstood video game villain, top unlikeliest badasses in video games, and even top video game characters that deserve a spin-off. So it seems like he's got just about everything, doesn't it? Well, Meta Knight, I feel, is not complete without his awesome sword, the Galaxia, so we will create that right here, just starting off with a sword as the source object. Paint it this golden color. I guess it's not too important, the specifics on this, but I do want to make it look close to the real Galaxia that he's got. So we'll put this dot right here in the middle, and I'm going to accent the handle part, the edges of the handle, with this fang. So just type in fang. You can kind of move the rotation of the fangs to look like the handle still. It's going to be a little bit hard to cover up the handle, it looks like right here on this right side for our right. But there, I mean, I guess that's kind of done it right there. Just a few minor adjustments. I'll make the sword a little bit smaller because I know our Meta Knight character is small. One thing not to forget that I don't think I showed on camera is that the Meta Knight, be sure to take the green grid for the head part, and move that down to the middle once you're done with the entire creation. Once you're sure that you don't have to go back and edit anything, because then if he's gonna eat something, or if you want to give him any food or do anything that involves the mouth or the head, you want it to be down in the middle where his head actually is, which we actually put on the body part of our creation within those green grids. So of course I've just used ivory for the little points on his Galaxia sword here. It looks pretty good, I think. We don't need to do too much more editing, just some minor rotations of them. I want them to all sort of be pointing in the same direction and look somewhat cohesive, I guess. So here we go, we'll call it Galaxia, and there are a few, I guess, fun little tidbits about it, so I'm actually just gonna read from the wiki here, as there's some epic information about the sword. So here we go. The sword Galaxia is a solid gold blade with a ruby embedded in its hilt, with anywhere between 0 to 6 spikes protruding from its sharp edges. In earlier games, the spikes were absent from the Meta Knight's then unnamed sword, and in the games, Galaxia is capable of shooting out sword beams and standard sword moves. In Meta Nightmare Ultra, it absorbs the energy of a defeated foe, allowing Meta Knight to use special attacks like the Mach Tornado, Meta Quick, and Heal. In the anime, the sword has sacred origins, having been created by a race of light and a fire god. So that's something I didn't really know until I, kind of investigated these fun facts and things like that, because I'm not really too familiar with the Kirby anime series or the manga or anything like that. Not even really the video games and stuff like that. Obviously, I know a little bit about them, but just kind of enough to get by, and half of it I learned from Smash Brothers. So here I went back to the Meta Knight. We have a little bit more stamp space, so I'm going to go ahead and add this M onto his shoulder pads. I know he's got this almost transparent M right there, so we painted it sort of a darker gray color. And hey, why not? Since we've got a little bit more stamp space, we'll go ahead and get to show off a technique that I use in the object editor from time to time. You see that I've gotten this fang and I resized it a few times. That's because if you can't move a certain little object to stamp piece that you're trying to do, and it kind of reaches its limit to move, like you can see I'm resizing it and then sizing it back down again. That's the technique that you want to use. It's basically off the grid. It's off of those green grids and it can't really go any further. Well, if you size it up, it can actually move just a bit further, depending on how much you increase the size. So that's all you have to do. Just try to position it and resize it. Now I've made our Meta Knight hostile and he's gonna attack our Kirby creation. This is a Kirby that I created long ago in this series. It was like back in episode 20 something, I think. It's such a distant memory. That was over a year ago, I believe, at this point. And Meta Knight kind of getting an easy victory there, I would say. But I do have it so that his Galaxia, we did some scripting that it'll basically make him quicker, so he'll attack actually faster whenever he's got the Galaxia in his hand. Now you can see that our hostile Meta Knight is chasing me around. This looks so funny, actually. So we'll go ahead and just try another Kirby so you can kind of see that our Meta Knight does actually do a projectile. That's one of his scripts, is that when he gets damaged, he not only becomes fearless, but he shoots out a small beige tornado. I know that this isn't exactly what it looks like or anything, but it's supposed to represent the mock tornado. Obviously Meta Knight in Smash Brothers, you can just press your neutral special and he'll do the tornado move. Let me go ahead and take this sword from him. Haha. So now I've got the Galaxia sword. There it is. There's the tornado. And that was actually pretty cool. It disarmed me. That was pretty crazy. So that was the small beige tornado. That's supposed to be the mock tornado. Let's go ahead and move locations here. I'm going to actually have him fight one of my older creations. Not super old. I mean, this is somewhat recent. Where is it? There we go. Waluigi. So some video game villains here going up against each other. And we'll make Waluigi brave, of course, so that he doesn't run away immediately. We'll give Meta Knight his Galaxia sword, and we'll create the adjective hostile right there. And does Waluigi? No, they're going to actually fight, so Waluigi doesn't need a hostile adjective, and it looks like they're going at it. Waluigi, of course, has his tennis racket that I've given him. I've actually got him in my little magical backpack with the tennis racket already, so, whenever he comes out of that backpack, he's going to always have it. Looks like Meta Knight's going to take this pretty easily. That Galaxia is making him crazy fast with his attacks, so that's exactly what I wanted, So it looks good. I really like how he turned out. I'll show you the Meta Knight. The sword kind of covers up his features and things like that, and oh crap, he's hostile. I forgot. So I was gonna just show you this as a comparison, to see the two of them, and now they're just stuck on fighting each other. I need to go ahead and pull another Meta Knight out of there we go, magic notebook. So this is just so you can see one with the sword and one without. I did actually make him without one important feature that I want to go ahead and add actually before we take a look at them. So just use Fang, and you can actually create 4 fangs right here. Give him those little points that are on his mask up at the top of the mask, and you could probably use several different types of objects, like maybe the tail of a certain animal or something that kind of has a straight point to it, but I honestly really like how these fangs turned out. So I actually took off the 2 fangs from the top of the wings, as you probably can see right there, to, we don't have enough stamp space without it, so right there we go. That's a lot better. I think it's a lot more detailed, and you can get a good look at them, one with the sword and one without. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I did say that I was going to create King DDD, so just await that in an upcoming episode. Very, very soon. But I appreciate everybody's attention. I will catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
We bring the music back to you. Put the show on town to town, do it big for everybody that's holding it down. Bring the beat back to you. Put the show on town to town, do it big for everybody.